Hello guys and welcome to a new episode on this channel, and today I will be talking about the book Where the Red Fern Grows. So let's get this book started with. One thing I shall mention for is that because of a lot of this book is about companionship, mainly like dog is my best friend, and I don't really like dogs that much because one time one tried to bite me and one of my friend's dogs tried to scare me and one peed on me. Yes. So I like cats more, and so I'll have my cats in the background right there to get this video up and running. Okay, so clickbait. Let's get this started with. One thing I will mention first of all is that this section will be divided into 4 sections. The actual book, what it's about, like a little trailer version, as if this is a movie. By the way, there was the Where the Red Fern Grows movie. Anyways, that happens, and a lot of other things too. Then we'll be talking about the Red Fern legend, the Indian Red Fern legend, and the purpose of the book, and then my opinion and a quick review about the book itself. So first of all, let's talk about what the book is. This book is about a boy named Billy who has no dogs and wants 2 dogs. Not 2 just any kind of dog. He wants 2 hunting dogs so that he can go and search for raccoons. I'm sorry. And go search for raccoons and kill them, skin them, and send them away to be sold and get all their sweet money back. And that kind of works out, and eventually he saves up enough money after 2 years of saving it up, and finally he goes off and goes on a 30-mile journey, 30 or more, about 30-mile journey, give or take a few miles, to actually buy the dogs themselves. And my shirt was unbuttoned, and no one told me at all until I looked at the lens of the camera. Why did no one tell me that? Anyways, back to the story. So then Billy comes along, buys the 2 pups, and gets bullied by the townspeople where his family is planning to move to. There, he does a lot of other things, and one time he actually finally gets into the actual making of the whole business. He gets home, trains them. After a while, then hunting season arrives. He gets them to hunt some coons, and they get a few coons on their first night out. Yippee! And no coon was able to fool them ever since. Then, after tallying out how many raccoons they hunted from their grandpa by hunting season, he realized that they were one of the very best coon hunters, and he enters the dogs into the coon competition. The hunting competition, first of all, little Anne actually wins a silver cup for best plate, for best looks, and then, well, a lot of other things happen too. And then they both work together to hunt enough coons to actually win the whole competition, a gold cup, and the prize money of $300. Now that might not sound much, but back then it was way much. It was enough. Like it was enough to actually probably buy like a Saligen pop. A pop was like a few cents back then, so that was a lot of money. It's like giving someone $5,000 today. No, that's not. Wait, hang on. How much is $300 in the 19th century? Waiting for Google to load a bit. That is the equivalent of $7,162.86 today. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of prize money, to be honest. Now that's a lot of money. Probably enough to actually move to another country or buy your favorite video game that's super expensive and that your mom or dad will let you buy. And the video game just costs $5. Next up, one more thing I should mention right here, now that we're over with, let's get on with the legend of the Red Fern, the Indian legend, not this Red Fern, also it's basically the same concept. The legend of the Red Fern from the Indian legends is basically goes on like this. There's an Indian boy like this guy here, and an Indian girl. A lot of other things happen too between these guys, and a lot of things happen so much that there's not really much there's difference between them, and they go together, explore a bit during the winter. Stupid idea, don't do that ever again. And they weren't wearing any good clothes, so highly advise not to do that. And they end up freezing themselves to death in the winter and fall to ground. Don't you ever do that. In the spring, they're found, and finally they actually get on with their completely great life, at least their people did, and they find their bodies. But in the place where their bodies were, there was a red fern that grows. Now, red ferns aren't a real plant, they're just like a legendary plant, to be honest, so don't try to find a red fern at all. Another thing that I should mention is that it doesn't grow at all. I guess you can make shapes and color a fern red, but it's not natural. I mean, it exists, yes, but not naturally. You have to make it from, like, You get the idea, don't you? It's basically fate. And they find a red fern, and since then, wherever a red fern grows, it is called a sacred place. So basically, if you genetically modify a fern to become a red fern, and you make sure that it grows everywhere in the world, Indians might think everywhere in the world is a sacred place. Or it's their civilization. Yeah, I don't really get the idea, to be honest. So that's basically how the story goes on. Now let's continue to the actual purpose of this book. I guess the purpose of this book is to show that there's always hope in even the deepest despair. You may have heard of yin and yang, light and darkness, and in that symbol of yin and yang. Actually, I drew it. In that symbol of yin and yang, you can see that there is a dot of its opposite. Yang has an yin in it, and yin has a yang in it. Basically, darkness cannot exist without light. And there's always a little bit of light inside darkness. And light cannot exist without darkness. There's a little bit of darkness in it. Each has the potential to actually become together. Like Luke Skywalker. He actually has the potential to go to the dark side, like Darth Vader. And Firestar and Tigerstar. Firestar has the potential to actually go to end up in the dark forest and become a dark forest cat, like Tigerstar did when he died. Please do not go into the dark forest. Please go to StarClan. And moreover, one more thing I should tell you guys about is that there is so much more controversy according to all these. One thing I should mention more is that this book where the red fern grows, at the ending, the graves of the two dogs have a red fern growing in them. So I guess that's what makes it good. Also, make sure that you remember this, that there is some hope in the greatest despair. Any despair, there's always a little bit of hope that you can use. Eventually, by just seeing the red fern, he realizes that there is the hope in all his despair, and he stops hurting. Like a miracle. And I guess when I lose a pet, like when I lost my hamster, I had a little bit of despair, but then I remember the future. I got more years to go on and to remember Mary. And I got this guy. Got some hope. And then, now look at me. I'm not in despair. And I have a new love. Being pet. He's a boy, not a girl. And that's basically the purpose of the red fern. Where the red fern grows. I guess its purpose is there's hope in everything. Even when there seems to be none of it. Moving on, what about my opinion? Like a quick review. Well, I guess you should read this because then if you're like in a little emotional state or having some personal issues that have a lot of despair for you, then I guess this can teach you to actually get all that hope out. So you got the red fern, and if you actually believe in God, then you can use this book to actually make yourself know that God is always watching over you. Personally, I don't believe in God, but if you do believe in God, you can make sure that God is actually watching over you, and that He's doing His best, and that He's doing everything He can to try to get the world into the perfect world that He wanted you to be. And also, so that there's no suffering, and if there were no wars, no fighting, no weapons, we might have lived peacefully. And if there was no such thing as territory and who owns what, and ownership at all, then maybe we wouldn't end up like this. Of course, we wouldn't end up like this. YouTube probably would have ever been created. At least we'd be in peace. The world would be one. And unlike the Eloy and the Morlock, check out my time machine video on that. So that's about it. The moral of the story is that there's hope and despair. Basically that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Thank Claude, who's sleeping right now, for being the best companion ever. Love you, Claude. Cat. Hope you're dreaming about something. Probably food. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Night, peace. Thanks, Mom, for helping me all out with this. See you soon. Night, peace.